Hello, everyone. Welcome to Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, webinar hosted by San Francisco chapter of the Commerce. I am Kulwant Sandhu. I'm a VP of Supply Chain at Outset Medical. I'm also a co-chair and board member of PCC. I'm here joined by my co-host Sandeep Dal. And today what we are going over, this is a third in the series of webinars on the topic of marketing and how it lands on the customers. Our first series was customer content is the king. Next one, we went over how do we found and trusted, and also the content needs to be very solid online. And this topic, today, we will go over how are we going to be found and trusted by customers, especially when we are going through COVID, and a lot of our small and medium-sized businesses and startups needs to pay attention. How has marketing changed over time? So I'll hand it to Sandeep to introduce himself before we dig into the topic.
Great, and thank you, Kulwant. So I'm Sandeep Dal. I'm currently founder and CEO of two companies, Win for Local, where we help small and medium businesses, startups, and technology companies for their marketing, and also SMB Capital Partner, where we help small and medium businesses, seasoned businesses with hundreds of thousands of worth of resources, alliances, as well as invested equity in them. So that's what our focus is on these days. And thank you very much for joining us today. And I think we should start now. Kulwant, do you think you want to say something here? Okay.
Absolutely. So I think first about PCC. It's a nonprofit organization devoted to interests of professional and businesses. It was established in 2017, and we have today 17 chapters in 5 countries across 4 continents. And we are growing our membership. And it's a forum, it's a networking forum for all the community to network with each other, to build the capital and build the capacity and help each other's business to grow and succeed and build our community stronger in every country. And the objective is to create a legacy for the next generation to grow, build, and succeed as Punjabis migrate all over the world. And this is a platform to connect with each other, to help each other, and help our next generation to grow stronger as a community. We have a strict no religion, no politics policy, but I call it maybe it's opposite. It's any religion and any political belief person can come and join us. And we believe in diversity and inclusion. And what is signing up for PCC membership is free. And what it does is it gives you a networking opportunity of a very diverse group of members in every field you can imagine, not only in San Francisco chapter, but across the globe. As I mentioned, 17 chapters. And we also participate in charitable causes for our community. As you know, during the COVID Delta surge, Punjabi Chamber raised 100,000 and distributed 100 oxygen concentrators to the government hospitals of Punjab. We also working on 2 oxygen plants in Manali and Jalandhar. We have partnered with Rotary International for the same going forward. And the most exciting for me is the youth wing, that we have a global youth squad. And Sandeep and I will be working towards getting the global youth squad established in San Francisco chapter as well. So now to the topic on hand. As I mentioned earlier, during the COVID, I think business is changing fast. It used to be that you can go and see the marketing or word of mouth, you know, which store to go shop or which restaurant to go to. But things have changed since we got into the COVID. And and the marketing is changing online as well. So how does our community, small businesses and medium businesses or startups think about it? So we'll be digging a little bit deeper into that topic to say, how do you think about marketing? What has changed? and how does it land on the customer? How do you think from a customer perspective? Especially in my job, I'm a business to business, right? So I'm looking at how do I, when we look for different suppliers, not only the marketing on online channels or other platforms, what do we look for as a customer? I think that's what we'll dig deeper into this topic. So I'll give it to you, Sandeep, to kick us off.
Thank you very much. And I think it'll be a great discussion like our previous two, where we brought in, I think we call it as a 360-degree view of the of marketing rather than talking about only from marketing perspective. You will talk from a business to business. You buy millions of dollars worth of goods every year. And so you have a very unique and very deep perspective on how customers can be perceiving marketing messages and all that, and how we can help these marketing and business owners in our community. So let's move on. So our topic today is get found and trusted by customers, and we are going to deeply look into how exactly marketing has changed and how you can understand it, our community can understand it, and then apply these principles, apply this understanding, holistic understanding, and then grow much faster and make an impact to the community faster. So as you know, this used to be the story for last 8-10 years, but after COVID, I think, is it okay for me to say that we have a 10x growth in online thing? Even though we used to look at online, Amazon was there even before COVID and all that. But after COVID has hit and everything is online right now, even a small store nearby should think of having at least an online part of their sales. Am I correct? Or okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think everybody's very familiar with this, and it kept us afloat, right? Even small businesses, if they wouldn't be able to ship and deliver with DoorDashes or other means, they would have been out of business, right? So everybody pivoted towards online.
Yeah. So so we will be looking at the concepts of what marketing has changed. Let's go to the next slide, and then we go into what used to happen before. Many years back, when we used to follow a traditional buying decision model, and some of the companies I meet in my daily work also still believe in these kind of models. So I'm not saying it is totally shifted, but there are a few people who are still left behind and they need to make a move. But let's look at this traditional buying business model. There is a stimulus where we get interested in something, and then we take our money and it has a transactional value. We go and give it to somebody and take the goods from that person, which is the second moment of truth, either we like it or hate it. So we call it a first moment of truth when we take the money and give it to somebody. And then the second moment of truth is I love it or hate it. So these are the two things which used to happen for many, many decades or maybe centuries. And so if you go to the next slide, you'll see what happened after everybody started Googling, and Googling is a word, but Google. And so when we look at this, and then we have a stimulus, I am interested in something. And then what do? I go to Google and start searching for something. And then Google, based on multiple factors, which are maybe content, reputation, and all that stuff, brings in some search results, and then it throws in front of you. At that time, you decide, and they say, take my money to the business owner or to the company, or to, in your case, to somebody who is selling supplier. And then the second moment of truth is usually I love or hate this. So that's how these things go. So if we go to the next slide, we will see why we call this. We talked about first moment of truth. We talked about second moment of truth, which is love and hate, but the zero moment of truth, where everything is, I have a stimulus. It can be any reason for that. Now I have that zero moment of truth. When this is a Google's term, I think, and Google wanted Google. When you Google it, you figure out that's when you're researching and finding out, hey, I need this. Where do I get this and all that? That's a zero moment of truth. We have to cover all these 3-4 points to be able to understand and make an impact in your marketplace because if we don't do it, somebody else is doing it. Do you agree to this, Sulwant, or
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how the world works today, right? Even in businesses, you look at, okay, what do we need to, people actually know business what's needed, but how do we go get it? Yeah, going to the internet search is a very common method,
yeah,
along with others. I think that's where everybody starts. There's no more newspapers, there's no more other means of media that's
yeah,
available. It could be word of mouth, it could be networking, referrals, right? Those things are still very valid. But I think even with those, everybody still go ahead and take a look at online resources.
yeah,
From buying grocery to get a business construction person for your home, or you are buying clothes or anything, right? Or even going for a
yeah,
job interview, even getting ready for interview, you are searching the net first,
yeah.
right? That's the truth we live in.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And let's go to the next one. And then when we saw that thing coming back, I love or hate, if you go back to a minute for a second, if you look into the second moment of truth actually feeds into the zero moment of truth of the future customer or future prospect. That's what we will talk about in the next few slides. So we like we talked about, everybody knows it is online, online, online. No matter whether COVID, how fast we overcome this COVID problem, we have shifted the marketplace forever. People's behavior has changed, and we, even if you are not on online right now, you should be figuring out a ways to be online and reaching out to your customers. And website is just a one small part of it. So maybe next
Yeah,
slide.
especially I would say our Punjabi community, right? Some traditional business models are still in existence, and they also need to seek out help from either their next generation or reach out to other community members to see how do we establish our online presence
Yes,
to
exactly.
grow the business.
Yeah, exactly. And even if, like we were talking about restaurants and all that, but even for business to business, and if our community members, whether it's a startup of a technology company or a traditional business, brick and mortar business, all of them need to have some customers. It can be B2B customer also, and then also you have the similar kind of challenges, correct? That's what you explained. Yeah. So let's move on to the next. If you click once, I think we will get another thing, and it says, let's go deeper into it and see how is the customer journey. How does your customer move from left to right, and how does it move totally in this sphere of when they are making the buying decision? If you look at the first step is awareness. Now, awareness in a B2C word can be through maybe through billboard if they're still there, and then some text messages or some email or text marketing or loyalty programs or television or something, or like you were talking about maybe yesterday, maybe a purchaser acquisition in a business to business requirement, right? So there can be many arrays. So would you like to say something more about that, or we?
Yeah, I think the awareness is in our face these days. I think it's more now than it used to be. Used to be just billboards, or
Yeah,
kids will see the M sign and they'll know I need a McDonald's. Or you see a lot of TV ads to say a lot of new cars or features in your face, a new phone or whatever. People got aware and they want it, right? That was the stimulant with
yeah,
this kind of marketing. But
yeah,
now it's in your face.
yeah,
Doesn't matter what you're thinking or what you're surfing, even if there's a lot of data analytics behind the scene being gathered. If you're on one screen for a few seconds more than other, you can start seeing the ads in front of you, right?
yes,
So
exactly.
it's more sophisticated these days, and it's more in your face all the time.
Yeah. So when in any for any reason your customer is now aware of their need and they have a general interest and they're now searching, the next step will be they are now if you click on the next, and then the next step will be the customer is now picking up its iPhone or Android and start searching for, where do I find this? where do I find this? Like, suppose I'm in a new town and I want to eat a Punjabi food. I will just go to, say, a Google and say, hey, that was my awareness. I want to eat Punjabi food. What do? I go and find a Punjabi food near me or Indian food near me, right? Something like that. Then what will happen? And then those things can also, when the search comes on, then Google will produce either an organic search, whether it can be from the content and reputation, whatever we talked about in the last webinars. It can be through a advertisements like PPC, like Google advertisements, Google ads, and maps, and the directories and apps, and even GPS systems. When you're coming back from, say, I'm traveling, I will just put in there, say, Indian food near me, and then the GPS, if that business is available on that GPS, it will guide me towards that, right? And then I think the same thing happens maybe in your case when you are in your department, maybe searching for some directories or something. Do you usually search such?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple examples. So in business to business, it's different than you going on a travel, and yeah, all these tools that we use in daily life, everybody does. But what happens in a business? So it could be a couple scenarios. One is, let's say we are out of a material because there's a worldwide shortage of a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah.
There's plastic resin shortage, there's metal shortage, there's chip shortage that everybody's aware of now. There's logistic issues. So how do we troubleshoot those in our day-to-day life? How do we find alternate materials or alternate suppliers every day? So that comes from, yeah, your websites, right? So in that website needs to be in a very good shape. So when I click on a website and we're searching for, let's say, resin supplier, if we look at a website, it needs to give me enough information. If the information is not there, you lost that sale, literally, because we are now educating ourselves as a buyer, as a customer, to say, okay, what is my need? Where's the right fit for us? So we search the web, we search the websites. We are members of, let's say, we are member of different trade organizations we can filter through to say, okay, give me 10 best matches here. Just like Google search.
Yeah.
There is trade shows that we go to. There's network. I call my colleagues in my other companies and they can refer me some companies out there. This is how it starts in the background. Before even a company gets a call from my team to say, hey, I'm interested to talk to you. So we do proactive search. In some cases, of course, sales guys are also scrounging and looking and pinging us all the time. But most of the time, I can tell you, I get pinged by so many salespeople, not a good match most of the time. Very few times I'll pick up the phone and give them 10 minutes. Most of the time, it's the other way is more effective, because when we are searching, we are seeking out, we are looking at, and the other actually latest trend I've seen, which is very, very valuable for me and my team these days, is all these companies are coming up with white papers, or they publish case studies. They showcase how their product or service is helpful to the businesses like ours. So that gives me, it's a 2-minute read. I can quickly take a look and like, yeah, that makes sense. I see the value instead of a sales pitch. To me, that has a more value these days. Let's take logistics example. There's a lot of logistics issues globally. If a logistic company is giving me a newsletter, a 2-minute read, not more than that, not 10 pages, none of that, a 2-minute read to say, what's happening on port in LA versus port in Shanghai, that gives me a good flavor of, okay, what's the status and what is this company's going to deliver for me? Do they have charter planes? Are they bringing charters? So that's a more value than entertaining a call from a salesperson.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it feeds into our two previous webinars where we talked about a lot about these things about content. And I think what you said about white paper And if anybody is new to this webinar and go and search for our first and second webinar, and I think they will get a lot more depth into what Kulwant just talked about, how white papers and how content has been so important for business to business as well as B2C, correct? Okay, so now, and I think we say that here also, when we say reputation, this is the zero moment of truth. Like I give an example of say blogs, and you talked about social. Then there's a social media and the reviews and blogs and articles, and then there is some kind of people are always talking about there are wrong mentions or the right mentions across the web about your business. And one thing which I would like to say, and I think you can confirm as a customer also, that that people know about, their customers know about your business more than you sometimes do about it, because they have looked around in the internet all. And sometimes I look at a new company, I purposefully write down reviews of this company, and then if I don't find anything, I even go and say bad reviews of this company, and Google then goes and find out something, so that so that we can figure out if somebody has said anything bad about this company or not, if it's a big size deal or something like that, right? So we can do such searches. So reputation plays a very important role in that zero moment of truth, when the customer, whether it's a B2B or B2C, is making a decision in their mind that, yes, I want to pursue this. I've needed this. I have found these 2-3 people, and out of this must be the right thing. Let's go and talk to that person. And then, am I correct here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we touched in our last webinar similar topic on reputation is extremely important, not only for the company,
Yeah.
but I think as a person.
Yeah.
So if I have the reputation and integrity, if I refer you something, you will believe more, and you go to that restaurant or go to that company to do business with.
Yeah.
So as a person, your integrity, your reputation is extremely important. And then these days you're exposed, right? Everybody has opinions. Opinions are on every social media. Opinions are on Yelp reviews and everywhere, right? So how do you, and the other thing is nobody's going to have perfect reviews either.
Yeah.
And if somebody's pointing out their frustration, or your response time is slow, or any of the feedback that you get, I treat it as the feedback is a gift to you. Is a gift to you. People are investing their time to share their experience with you, and it's your obligation to take that seriously and respond to it and action it and close that gap so that it doesn't happen again. I think instead of being defensive, that's a wrong approach. It's going to go a wrong way. So you need to also learn, that's a behavior change as well, and you take the feedback, analyze it, and action it. I think that'll be my message on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then everyone, like you said, positive or negative feedbacks should be responded to. And like I will add one line to what you said, was that even one feedback, which is a gift, like you said, very nice, very well, that gift is actually can be a start of various process improvement or various of your business improvement things. Like suppose I'll say a customer, your employee was not happy, or maybe some of your people are not doing good. Then you can figure out whether it's a training issue, whether this an X issue or Y issue, or then work on that, right? So let's move on, I think, on the next thing, one more click. And then after the zero moment of truth, the business owner, or the customer, or in the case of business to business, the supplier, the purchaser has decided to go in one thing. They want that process of sale to be easy, because that's where the conversion is happening. And many times I see that the process is not managed very well. You send an inquiry to the customer, to this business owner, or the startup, or the technology company, or whatever it is, whatever you are. They don't respond. In the new statistics, by the way, I'll tell you, new statistics I've seen that you have to, when the customer sends you an email, you better respond within the first 60 minutes. and because the customer's memory and about you, whether they have sent you an email, also goes down after that. So 60 minutes, and it's not for a large amount of say a big sale or something. For a normal sale, it is around 60 minutes is the cutoff period, and after that it goes down. And I'll give you another statistics from, if you heard of a thing called Place for Mom, where old age people, and they help. Place for Mom is like for a aggregator for helping residential assisted living people, where old people who need help, regular help, are actually going and live there. So Place for Mom, if you ever try talking to Place for Mom, just leave then one inquiry. Within a 1 second or 2 seconds, the moment it hits, they have a technology, and I think I also it's available in the market for everybody. Within a second, the call comes to you, and there's a person talking to you. And that's the change has happened. And it's not only the calls and all that. We talk about websites, we talk about apps, we talk about online booking, whatever it is, or even a sales visit to meet you, the VP of a company, or a purchaser in a company, or a purchase manager in a company, right? That has to be a process, very seamless, and we have to look and work on that. So that's an important part. Would you like to say something here about your experience?
I think you said it right, Sandeep. It looks like one, people have less attention these days, right? We lose interest very fast. That's one. But in business, it's a little different, right? So I can share many examples of how many companies have lost their business that we did not award them the business because of the response time alone, right? Closing a sale is another art, right, for salespeople. It's a very art, and you need to check all the boxes. So even let's say as we're competing with the RFQ with 2 different suppliers or 5 different suppliers, we picked the final 2. In the final 2, they all check the boxes. Cost is right? Terms are good. Contract looks good. Capacity is there, etc. They checked all the boxes, but there's one company lacking in responding to you on time versus the other. And guess who's gonna get the award of the business? The one who's responsive.
Yes, definitely.
Because it's not just responding to close the sale, but it's an onset of a new relationship with that business. And if we cannot depend on each other to respond and address our concerns on time, it's not gonna be a good start. It's not, you end up, even if you choose them, you're going to end up changing them at some point.
Yeah,
right?
no, agreed, and that's a start of a relationship. And in a business to business world, like every relationship, as strong a relationship you have with your suppliers, it is said, then I read somewhere that these days, or maybe in the future, it is going to be a war between companies based on supply chain and supply chain. There's one supply chain ecosystem is going to fight the war against second supply chain ecosystem. And that's what I read it in a white paper, like you said, in PwC or McKinsey a few years back. And that may be changing now, maybe happening the same way. So if we can click once more, and then maybe we can go. And like we have been talking about in the last 3 webinars, the importance of asking for reviews, importance of wowing the customer, importance of exceeding expectations, whether it is response time, reputation, easily findable business, or all those things. The customer is going to be happy and share his happiness with the others openly online, a word of mouth, like you said, anywhere they can. And then that feeds into I think if we click once more, maybe it will show that thing, and then it goes and contributes to the reputation, which helps at the 0 moment of truth, which we call it. It helps at the next prospect. So we should, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think we did the advocacy piece in the last webinar as well.
Yeah.
It's important, right? So does a social media post, for example, is important, right? People do take it as a reference point, But if, let's say, if I tell you that, hey, I've used this supplier for ABC and they have done a good job, you will automatically put that supplier ahead of others, right?
Definitely.
No matter how, even if you have to pay maybe a little bit extra because you have that advocacy from a trustable source, right?
Yeah.
So that makes a huge difference. I have done that I may pay somebody a little more because I trust them.
Yeah. And
This is
I will.
happening through the third party or the person I trust, right?
Yeah, I want to add one more thing. Yesterday, I was talking to a founder and an inventor of a product and a founder of a startup technology company who had come up with a very good product. He spent 4 or 5 years on developing that product, and he wanted me to help him about, be his first beta customer and decide, from my company, we can decide whether we can use it and give him some experience. And actually, he was talking about what you just said, social proof. The social proof, he said, if he can get as many social proof as possible by November of this year, he would be happy to launch this product in January. So, so I agree with you 100%, and we go all the way on that. So let's move on to the next one, I guess. And we have talked a lot about the findability, reputation, advocacy, and online presence, and how conversion is important. But which stage is important? It's important to win in each stage. No one stage is, wherever you go wrong in the entire 4 or 5 stages of customer when it's moving in this direction, anything, and your competition is doing all right 4 or 5 subjects, and then you can lose the battle. So you need to look at all of these actions, all of these boxes you need to take care of. And if you can click on the next one, I usually give an example of from a, and we can talk about the business to business also, but let's talk about from an easy example. I go to I love Thai food. Suppose I go to a new place. I say, okay, what is the new Thai food near me? The advertisements are coming up. I have awareness about it that I want Thai food. Okay, somebody is advertising. That is business A. I saw it. It creates an awareness in my mind. I found the findability is that yes, there is a Thai food restaurant. I want to go there, but the zero moment of truth, when I go and check on the Google shows me that the person who is advertising, who has generated interest in me about eating Thai food again today, has 3-star. And whereas Google also shows you there's another restaurant around the street which has 4.5 star or 5-star, right? Where will I go? I don't care who is advertising, who is doing what, who is doing marketing. I will go to the person which is a business B who is not doing marketing or anything, but he has 4 or 5 stars. So would you like to say, and I think in a B2B also, like you said, maybe because somebody has a good experience about some products and something, and then you may consider that, or would you like to say something more about it?
Absolutely. I think even in your example, let's say how many times we have checked online, we checked the Yelp reviews. Let's say I'm traveling somewhere. How many times I asked the concierge at the hotel to say, hey, any recommendation for a good Thai food?
Yeah.
They say, go to so-and-so place. Don't you even, then you even ignore these, even the points are low in reviews, and you still go there, right? Because of the recommendation.
Yeah, that's a recommendation. And yeah, sorry, you want to say something?
Yeah, so I think that those things are important. Same thing goes in the business B2B as well.
Yeah.
When we check the references of the business, and if references come out strong, and that's where the decision kind of sways into to close the sale.
Yeah. And here, when we're talking about reviews, we're talking about business to customer, B2C. But in the case of the B2B world, we talk about reference checks, and we talk about how others have used it, and so that you can get that, because reviews may not show up on Google just like that, right? So
it's very important. We go through that. We usually go through that step. So it's not just online based. We do call reference check with the companies, real businesses out there.
Yeah, and I think the more the size of the project, the more bigger this thing is, and the more I've seen when we were talking, I was in technology and we were reviewing, say, SAP or ERPs like JDE. We would go and ask many other people who have already used it and whether this meets our requirement and all that. So how was the whether Deloitte was doing good work or PwC was doing good work, or should we even go in for an outsourced company or something? You know, there were so many things happening, and all that is what you're saying is for B2B. I think we can click once more, and this is just what we just said, that the customer will move to the second business if we do not take care of our reputation, awareness, and findability and reputation. That's where the change happens. No, even if you are thinking of my message, or our message to you should be that if you are thinking of splurging your money on the advertisements and all that, first take care of your house, plus take care of your business, plus take care of your reputation, understand all the things are working, and then start putting money on your advertisements and all that. Because no amount of fancy brochures or advertisements are going to give you something. And the last message, which is a kind of a funny thing, is for somebody said to me and a few years back that the easiest and fastest way to increase your marketing budget is to use your competitors. Because if you remember the business A and business B is very nicely utilizing business A's marketing budget. You know, somebody is advertising, creating interest about the Thai food. I am interested in eating Thai food when I am going on a travel. But guess what? The business B is winning. So that's a very funny way of saying it, but it makes a point. So we thought we should add it here. And would you like to say something more?
No, I think you brought it home. Basically, our message is for any business, yeah, marketing is important. How it lands on the customer is important. So pay attention to all that and leverage based on your own business. Every business is different. So take a look at all the steps that Sandeep's gone through. They're extremely important. And the goal of the webinar was to sensitize you about thinking broadly on this topic instead of just going in one path and getting frustrated and then thinking, hey, how come I'm not landing more business? Because I'm doing everything right. So also look at the feedback, look at holistically as what your goal is and how this will contribute towards that.
Okay, I think we should be open for questions, or we have any other slide? Okay, yeah. Genia, do you have any questions here?
Okay.
No, Sandeep.
Okay, that's great.
With that, I think we call it a wrap. I think basically what we mentioned in the beginning of the pitch, that we are member-based community support group. So it's a strong leadership, strong broad collaboration group. So we invite you to become members. And what the membership does for you is increase visibility of your business, give you a voice in the community, and network with each other. There's very different type of members that you can reach out to, and grow your business and give feedback and give back to your community. So that's the call out. We'd love to have you as members.
And last slide I think we have is if you want to say something more. Sorry, okay. So anybody who wants to connect with us, connect here, ask questions, and we would like to grow our membership here in San Francisco Bay Area, and we are creating a network of support for each other. And we know business owners need help in this COVID, and we will be able to, with this, we have a very diverse setup of people in Punjabi Chamber and globally, and we will be able to find somebody who can help you. Would you like to say something? Or?
Yeah, with this, I think this is it for now. And you guys can reach out offline or through LinkedIn or through the membership.
Okay, thank you very much. And
yeah.
We can wrap it up, Genia. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm closing the webinar for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.